Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We are here with another Alliance War video. This is going to be Alliance War Season 56, Number 9, and AOH has matched up against Next. At the time of this recording, I believe we were in 15th or 16th, and Next, or sorry, I said at the time of the recording, at the time of us matching them, which I guess technically we're still in the same spot, but yeah, they were one spot above us, so it makes sense that we match them. We have identical records with just slightly different attack bonus. And on my main account here, we are going to be on Path 7, Section 1, taking this Chee'ilth. This is the damage reflection node whenever the defender purifies a debuff. We're bringing White Magneto because we just need like a generic bleed immune or bleed resistant champion. Either works for a fight like this. And I also was not able to fit White Magneto onto anyone else's team. So it's nice that since my White Magneto was duped, after I win this fight, I will have 4 pre-fights to give out. So I'm going to use 1 for my own fight, and then I have 3, which is actually all we needed for the entire war. If I had a second White Magneto that I was able to send, I don't know that I would have had fights that it actually would have helped on. So yeah, I'm definitely very happy with how this plan went. But Chee'ilth on this node, she's pretty straightforward because White Magneto is bleed immune. If I were to take a medium attack into the block, it would trigger my bleed immunity, and then Chee'ilth would gain a precision passive, allowing her to crit through my block. However, we're never gonna block a medium attack in this whole fight, because due to the attacker tactic, you can get as many openings as you want after she gets to her special for the first time. And while she technically could have thrown a medium into my block right at the start, she never made contact with me again for the rest of the fight. It was just me hitting her. So yeah, really easy fight. Now we'll go on to our second fight here. This is again on Path 7. This is going to be Rintrah on the Tranquilize Aggression Fury node, and Chee'ilth is basically a perfect counter for this because the Tranquilize that's applied from the defender throwing their special is an active debuff, so my cleanse is going to be more than enough to take care of it, given that that's the only debuff I'm going to be suffering from in this fight. I am going to be neutralized most of this fight, but it doesn't really matter. And also with Chee'ilth's amazing heavy reach, you can very easily counter Rintrah's special 1. So we are literally just going to be parry heavying the entire fight. There's no need to throw my special 1 for the grit because Rintrah's never going to go unstoppable unless we let his mystical charges get out of hand. And when you're throwing heavy attacks, obviously that's never going to happen because that's how you remove them. So whenever he gets one, we're just going to remove it instantly with the heavy attack. So yeah, very straightforward fight. You're just going to play this one slow. The SP1 is so long that he gets 2 Aggression Furies during the special 1. However, your heavy attack is 2 hits. So there's never a point in this fight where he's going to be able to hit me where he has even a single stack of Aggression Furies. So basically a really hard counter. If there's a champion that can be bled on that node, Chee'ilth is basically just like a complete hard counter. So I am clearing really early in the war, so I did the plan. I have been planning for my alliance since I think War 6. It's been like 3 or 4 wars now. I don't even remember. It was either 6 or 7. That was my first one. I think it was 6. So I think I've done the last 4 wars, but honestly, I'm not sure. It might only be the last 3. But right after I posted the plan, I made sure everyone had a few hours to go over it. And then the next morning, I gave everyone the all clear. I decided to clear about an hour after that because I just wanted my fights to be done. I actually have a midterm exam that's worth, it's a really important exam for me. That is on Wednesday. And I need to be studying basically all day today and tomorrow, and I cannot be worrying about war. So I just wanted to get all my fights done early, which is why I'm also recording this really early. But this next one is going to be Path 1, Section 2, and we have Spider-Ham on the first node. We are just going to be using heavy attacks with Chee'ilth, and then right here we are going to finish the fight off. That SP1 was not necessary, but once again, just like in the Rintrah fight, the only debuff that is going to be applied in this matchup is one we're going to purify right away. So really does not matter. And here we have Shocker. Honestly, I could have used Chee'ilth for this too, but I wanted to bring a hard counter, and I didn't really need a third on my team because I already had a pre-fight champion to use for some other people. So we have this Shocker. We're using Titania. This is going to be on Buffet. I do get caught in a dash back right at the start of the fight. That was just kind of really awkward. The way he was dashing forward just kind of caught me, and I don't know. It was a really weird situation, but there's no threat to this node because I'm buff immune and can't be nullified. The only source of regen he has in this fight is from the overload, and there's absolutely zero chance that he's going to get 10 of those charges and go unblockable before he dies. So we are not worried about that whatsoever. So we're going to bait this SP2 right here, and then we're going to start going for our SP3. We're going to dash in and then start a heavy attack so we get double debuffs. And yeah, we're just going to do huge damage right here. And we're going to push him to another special 2 with these heavy attacks, which is amazing, because if you never give Shocker the opportunity to throw his special 1, basically every defensive ability he has just goes down the drain. And yeah, we're going to take a little extra block damage in this fight, but I honestly don't care because this was such a safe matchup, and I just felt really good in this fight. So yeah. That's Titania's only fight, so to come out of it that healthy, as far as I'm concerned, that's a full yellow bar. I mean, obviously there was that mistake at the start of the fight, but very, very nice. And now we actually have what is probably my favorite fight of the war on both accounts, like total. And this is going to be Maestro Thanos. And when I saw this placement initially, I was thinking, this is kind of a smart placement. And then I had an idea. I know the way that Maestro interacts with whiffing mediums in the middle of special attacks. And if you don't know, the way most people counter Deathless Thanos' SP1 is by whiffing a medium and then dexing the second hit. And I thought, what if you can just whiff a medium and a light? Because then you could counter with a medium. And I dueled it, and it turns out you can. Now, in this fight, I did apply the Wags pre-fight. I did only apply that for damage. I'm aware that there's currently a bug right now where the Wags pre-fight doesn't interact properly with the stun immunity on this node. And it basically just doesn't trigger. So, like, you can still stun the defender, but I don't want to parry in this matchup because then that is going to eventually give me a soul barb. So I chose to just play this fight fully stun immune the way I would fight a boss. And there is enough time in the middle of a special 1 to whiff both a medium and a light attack if you are fast enough. So we're just going to stick to medium light combos the whole fight. And as long as we're fast enough with the L1 counter, we are never going to trigger Maestro. So yeah, I'm really glad I came up with the idea of using Chee'ilth for this fight in this way, because I'm not entirely sure who else I would have sent. Now, I'm sure it would have been okay. I'm sure I would have found someone that would have soloed. But yeah, this was definitely a really good find, and I'm very happy with how this fight went. I think we're going to throw a heavy here. Yeah, we can ignore the unstoppable because we have grit, but as long as you're fast enough and counter with both a medium and a light, you are completely fine here. So here is going to be the final protection phase. Going to throw another special 1, and I think he's going to be dead like right after this special 1. I think he's dead right now. Yeah, there we go. So a little bit over 100 seconds, a minute 45-ish. So I'm very happy with how that went. That was definitely my scariest fight of the war on my main. And I have another fight on my alt that was on paper a little bit scary, but you'll see how that went. So now we go into my alt. I cleared these fights about a half hour later because I just needed to wait for my energy to get full so I didn't have to buy an extra energy refill. But now we have the team of Hood, Mojo, and Titania once again. There were actually 2 fights in Section 2 that were side by side, one on Path 1 and one on Path 2 that I really wanted to send Titania for, but there wasn't any fights in Section 1 Titania was useful for whatsoever. Like, there's genuinely 0 I would have sent her to. So it just kind of worked out that I'm able to bring Titania on both accounts. So starting off here, we are going to be on Path 2, Section 1, and this is the neutralized node, and also the one where you need to alternate your hits or you trigger buffs. Now, triggering those buffs when I don't have neutralized wouldn't actually do anything, but I just wanted to be safe. There is one point in this fight where I'm going to mess up, think I get a reparry, but he actually just threw another medium, I think it was. So I'm going to end up throwing a heavy into the air, but I think I don't get punished for it, luckily. So the whole point of this matchup is to take this fight really slow, throw a bunch of heavies to make sure we have a lot of bullets. And yeah, just play around. Prowler's not that hard of a defender, especially now that he's not tactic. Right there, that's where I thought I got the reparry. And to be fair, I did hit the parry. It's just that he threw a non-contact hit. He threw a double medium combo, so I wasn't able to parry. Still waiting, and then there we're able to parry, which is nice. And then here I think we're just gonna go with a 4 light combo. Yeah, so we don't apply any bullets there. Very clean. Honestly, anyone would have worked for that fight. There was a part of me that wanted to use Titania, but I'm aware of the matchup between neutralize and buff immune champions, where the neutralize triggers before the game checks for buff immunity. So any effect that would trigger from failing a buff still triggers even though you're buff immune. It's a very odd interaction, but it is a thing that I've seen before. So here we have Hitmonkey on the root node, and this is pretty scary. The reason this is pretty scary is if you get in the situation where you are both rooted and he is unblockable. So we are being very, very careful in this fight to make sure that we bait out the special 1 before the root triggers. So we have, sorry, I'm not speaking English right now. We make sure that at no point in the fight is he both unblockable and I'm rooted. And as long as you don't do that, you're not going to die to the fight. So we did invuln, and we used up every single hit of the invuln by eating a heavy attack. But we come out that fight with almost 100% health, and that heavy attack would have maybe done 20% of our health maximum, which is like 1 potion. So I'd say that was pretty successful. So here we have this Maestro. This is actually a pretty smart placement. Void would be a really good counter to this because you can just reverse the healing and intentionally trigger it when you have petrifies to just melt him down. But I chose to go for Hood because I'm confident with my ability, or confident in my ability to nuke the fight. And we're just going to try to get to our L2. Unfortunately, he's being pretty defensive, so we're not going to reach our SP2 before we get power drained. And here he throws a special 1, so we're going to get power drained again. But the important thing is that that power drain right there did not push us under a bar of power, which means the timer is not going to start again until we get to a special 2. So if that happens, then you're basically guaranteed to get to your next special 2. So as long as you do that, you're okay. And then here we're just going to detonate with a heavy. Very easy fight. We are getting a little bit low on bullets, but I knew what my next fight was, and I knew it was one where I would have a lot of opportunities to knock the defender down. So I was not worried at any point in this war about my bullets. And I think in one of my fights, my fight against Killmonger on Hazard Shift, I think I throw like 2 extra heavies at the start of the fight, and that's more than enough. So here, this is the Titania fight for my alt account, and this is going to be EMP mod Peni Parker. Titania doesn't specifically counter Peni in any special way, but what Titania does do is shut off every single aspect of this node except for stun immunity. So this is something I do pretty often in my planning. If I see the opportunity to send Titania and she turns off all the nodes, and like Titania versus the defender is a good enough matchup that it just turns it into a doable duel, then I will send it. For example, in the war before this, there was an onslaught on this node, and I sent Titania, and the player soloed with like 95% health, because at that point, it's basically just a Titania boss with not even half the health, right? So here, we didn't go for any more heavy attacks because I didn't want to push Peni to a special 3. We do take some block damage here, and we do need to hit into the block to remove her sync shield because she has so many charges that unless I'm blockable, she's essentially guaranteed to auto block me here. But we are trying to make her not throw special 1 as much as we can, and it has been successful pretty far, so far. And here we're gonna bait another special 2, just gonna rush back to our special 3, and then as soon as we get to our next special 3, the fight is gonna be over. So here, we need to just use our unblockable to force Peni to get to another special, but here we did not do it fast enough, and we get auto-blocked a little bit, but we just need to block to the special 2, hit down the rest of her sync shield, and then we're going to be at special 3, and the fight is going to be over. So while this fight did take a little bit, it was always a very, very safe matchup. I was never in danger here, and overall, I'm very, very happy with how this matchup went. Here we're going to heavy into the special 3, and the special 3 is going to finish off the fight. So once again, I brought Titania for only one fight because using Hood here is just not a good idea. I'm sure I could do this with Hood if I had an Odin on myself, but I just don't really want to do that, to be honest. So let's go to our mini bosses. We have 3 mini bosses this war, and I'm going to be starting off with this node 38 Adam Warlock with Hood. This is a pretty straightforward matchup. He doesn't really do anything special on this node, and we are going to use this matchup to milk our bullets quite a bit, because as you can see, we're only at 17 here. We're going to use our invisibility right here to get an extra heavy attack in, just because I have faith in my ability to intercept. And then after I bait a special 1, I'm going to be unblockable, and I won't have to worry about intercepting then. So, and then as soon as the debuff immunity comes back every single time, or rather expires, because the ability to stun comes back is what I meant to say, we are going to parry heavy. And just make sure that we have enough bullets heading into the next fight here. So I think coming up, oh, here we go for a special 2. I probably should have gone for a heavy and then a special 2, but it's not going to matter that much. And then here we are going to kill him with a heavy attack. So nice fight. We got back, what, 6 bullets from that one. And then I think in the next fight, we're going to throw a couple heavies. This fight here that I'm about to do against Killmonger on node 45, I've now taken this fight twice this season. The first time was with Hood before he was rank 4. So it was a rank 3 versus a rank 3, and this is a rank 4 versus a rank 3. I am going to make a mistake in this fight, and I am going to eat a full 5-hit combo and lose half of my health. This matchup can be done so much better than I showed it off in this fight specifically, but we're still going to come absolutely nowhere near dying, so it's definitely not a problem. Just have to bait heavies at the start of the fight, get a couple heavies of your own, and then here he decides to end a couple combos into my block because he's being annoying. There we go for a heavy assisted by our miss, and now we have the Fate Seal up, and Hazard Shift ability accuracy is being reduced, or just, I guess, the ability accuracy of the defender overall, not specifically from Hazard Shift. I do know how to heavy counter both of his special attacks, so we are going to do that when applicable. And here I think we're going to go for another heavy, and then that will allow us to get our invisibility going into the next special. So that's perfect. So the fight's going pretty well, and I think we are about to take a full 5-hit combo to the face. Yeah, I think right here we go for a second heavy. There are some defenders you can do that against where you can heavy over and over again in the corner. I had the wrong spacing in this fight, so it didn't work, but sometimes it does work. And then here, I think we're just going to end the fight off with a heavy. So, not the cleanest fight out of me, not the best showing of that matchup. Like I said, that fight can You can finish that fight with over 80% health, but hopefully we'll do a better job next time. And I think last time we did it, we with 80% health, 80, 80, 85, something like that. So, yeah, that's okay. We got through it. We were never anywhere near dying. We would have had to eat another 3 combos to die there, honestly. I don't think another 2 combos would have killed us unless he got tons of crits, but definitely was not going to happen. So here we have node 47 Attuma. I've taken this node, I think, the last 3 wars, and we're taking it again today. Stop placing defenders on this node who are vulnerable to hood. Attuma does absolutely nothing to prevent being hooded, and if you ever want this defender this node to not get nuked in 30 seconds by hood, you need to place a hood-proof defender. There are hood-proof defenders. Attuma's just not one of them. As soon as we got to our L2, I was like, yeah, this fight's over. He's going to throw L1. We just don't care. You know what, bro? Thank you, because you just gave me an unblockable to deal a whole bunch of burst damage. That's all you succeeded in doing. This is our 3rd L2. He's at 50%. We're going to heavy. The fight's over. Like, that's a rank 3 Attuma in 30 seconds on the mini boss node. That's just absolute insanity. So that is going to be it for my fights this war. Let's show you how the war is going so far. Like I said, I did take my fights really early, so the war is nowhere near over. This is the current score. We are up 5-0, and we also have 20 more. Excuse me. We also have 20 more fights done than them. So at the moment, we are winning, but it is still way too early to call. So I'll wait to post this video until I know the results of the war, whether it's over or not. If I know for sure who is going to win, then I'll post the video. But we don't know what our record is. It's either going to be 5-4 or 6-3. Hopefully 6-3 based on how the war is going so far, but you never know. And we still have 0 deaths on the season on both accounts. My PSR overall is going to be 116 out of 116 or 100%. On my main, it's 52 out of 52. And on my alt, it is 64 out of 64 fights soloed. I have a current deathless streak of 191 fights. And that is an 86 active streak on my main and a 110 fight streak on my alt. So it would be really cool if I could not die next war and hit a 200 fight deathless streak, but you never know what's going to happen. So we just have to hope that I keep playing as well as I've been playing for the first 9 wars of the season. So that's going to be all for today. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.